Holy crap, look at that view. That is beautiful right there. Trying to get home, and traffic is just not making this easy at all. So I got a question for you guys. Whoa, I gotta get in gear first. How many of you guys actually commute to work? Like, I mean, not commute, but how many of you guys have a long commute to work? Like 75 miles plus. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I would consider a long commute. There's got to be a few of you guys out there. If not, there's maybe a few of you out there that are getting ready to make this commute or something, or wondering if it's even possible. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some tips on commuting.
Why do I feel like I linger between the words to say the words to remember. Now we're here to take control over your body and over your soul. We're gonna take back everything and lose it all, lose it all, lose it all. Feel it in your arms, feel it in your legs, feel it on your fingertips and feel it in your head. Just let your body go, just let your body go, just let your body go.
So we're going to talk about some tips about commuting, long distance commuting. Just, for those of you guys that don't know, I commute to work. It's about 106 or 107 miles one way. So 212 miles a day on Ms. Lola here, my Daytona 675. Yeah, I've seen some crazy ass shit. These drivers are crazy out here. I've definitely learned some things, some tips, and some things that have made the commute easier for me, I guess. As easy as it can be when you have to commute like long distances every day. There's a couple things that I do to make sure that, it's just easier for myself. And there's a couple pitfalls beyond, just putting on crazy miles. There's a couple pitfalls that I still find myself struggling to try to find some sort of, medium or more, some center ground here with certain things. So I figured I'd throw it out here. We talk about it. And some of you guys that maybe have long commutes or have some sort of commute like mine can chime in, put your tips down below, your comments, your pitfalls, all that good stuff. Let's help each other out. Don't forget to hit on my Instagram page, GhostNinja SD. I'll put that up on the screen right here. I typically actually post there more than I do on YouTube, just because it's easier to do. And so I'm pretty active on Instagram. So make sure to hit me up with a follow and say what up. So the first thing I would have to say is, if you can avoid a long distance commuting on a motorcycle, or in general, I would definitely advise you to avoid it. It's okay in the beginning, like it's not that bad because you're like, oh yeah, I'm riding whatever, but it actually gets really irritating and tiring, and it doesn't suck the fun out of riding, but the commute is just, oh man, it's just killer. If you can avoid doing it on a sports bike, I would definitely try doing that. There's several reasons. Not that it can't be done. Obviously, I do it every day. It's not really an issue with pain in your back or anything like that. There's actually a different issue that I come across, and so that's the only reason I say don't do it on a sports bike. But if you have the ability to do it on like an FZ09, a speed triple, a street triple, something like that, or even a cruiser, I'd recommend doing it like on something like that rather than, really the main reason why I say to do it on something other than a sports bike is the luggage options. I get stuck with basically a backpack. I use this, the tank bag, sorry. I do have a tail bag that I use from time to time, but even with like the stuff that I have, like this is cool, the backpack's cool, but I wish I had better luggage options. The tail bag that I use is a Viking Cycle tail bag, and it works, but it's kind of a pain to put on, a pain to put off, and it's just kind of a hassle to deal with. If there was something that you can have that was like a locking system that you didn't have to take on and off every time you got off the bike to go inside to work, that would be much easier. But I don't have that option. So everything I have that I take with me on the bike, I have to take off with me when I go to work and put back on when I go home, and that's kind of irritating. Not a showstopper, but it is kind of irritating. The next thing would definitely be maintenance and tires and keeping your chain clean. There's a lot of little things you're going to be going through much faster. So keeping up with oil changes, at the point, if you're doing like myself, doing about 200 miles a day, oil changes become very frequent. So paying for someone to do them is just probably out of the question, especially, the amount of money they're going to have to put down every single time. So I probably have to do my oil about every month and a half or something like that, with the miles that I'm putting down right now. I'm hoping this is just temporary, but for the time being, it is what it is, and it's something I got to deal with. The chain also, remember, you're supposed to clean the chain about every 500 miles, so that's about 2 days with me. I have to clean the chain. I normally, honestly, I'm not perfect on that. I don't clean it every single freaking 2 days. I normally clean it every week, and that's been doing okay for me. But if you really want to be meticulous, about every 500 miles, so that'll get you through it. But as long as you keep it clean and you keep up with it and you lube it, you should be good. But it's one of those things that you're putting on so many miles, you got to be aware of and make sure you monitor. And then tires. Tires are a big thing if you're commuting. So when I first started this commute, I had some old Michelin Road Pilot 4s. And they were great. They did the job. I did a lot of riding before that. I went to Seattle, came back. I put a shit ton of miles on those. So those tires were absolutely perfect. So by the time those tires were done, which was like in December, beginning of December, or maybe the end of November, I think, I needed new tires, and the Michelin Road Pilot 5s were coming out. They were about to come out in January, and I really wanted to get those tires. I happened to have a set of Q3s from when I put the Michelin Road Pilot 4s on in storage. So I went and put those things on, and man, I burned right through those things in like a month. Those things were toast. They were just done. And so tires are very, you have to put some time and effort into thinking what tire you want to decide. Whether you choose what I picked, right now I'm rocking the Michelin Road Pilot 5. So far they've been doing pretty good. I've had them on for about a month now. They're still pretty round and kind of barely tell where they're flattening. But that's, a month worth of riding 200 miles pretty much every day. So they've been holding up pretty good. With the weather the way it's been here, they're also, depending on where you live, that's also part of the choice. For me, I just went with the Michelin Road Pilot 5s because I really like the 4s. They did the job. They lasted long. And that's kind of what I was looking for. Because we are in winter, that's another reason why I picked them. While we don't get a lot of rain here in California or in Southern California, we do get some rain. And with the way that drivers are out here, not ready to deal with rain, the way the road conditions are after not raining for so long, I really wanted a good set of tires that could hold up to rain. So that was one of the other reasons why I picked the Michelin Road Pilot 5s. I would definitely recommend them. They're good tires. Obviously, I'm not getting paid for this. I wish. But yeah, so that's one of the other big things when you're commuting is tires, man. There's so many options out there. Just kind of pick a tire. Really put some time into effort into actually looking into tires. Tires are like a science, man. You can argue over which tire is better, which tire lasts longer, which tire is more sticky, why each tire is different, it just goes on, man. So put some time and effort into that. That's a very big part of commuting that I think you really need to focus on. If you're riding a super sport or a sports bike on long distance commutes, another good investment would be for you to go ahead and pick up a good seat. Most sports bike seats are pretty shitty. I picked up a Triumph, like a kind of a factory Triumph gel seat that I'm using, that I picked up for the trip to Seattle. So I haven't really had to deal with that, but I know there's a lot of fucking crazy hard seats out there when you're talking about sports bikes. So if you're gonna make a commute, that is definitely something worth investing in, getting yourself like a Saddleman seat or something like that, or if your manufacturer makes their own, go for that, but just get something a little bit more comfortable. Like I said, I've been commuting on the sports bike. I don't really have any issues with my back or anything like that. No issues with my wrists. If your wrists are hurting or your forearms are hurting, it typically means that you're holding onto the bars too hard. And you got to remember that these are just for controlling. They're not to support your weight. So keep that in mind, man. Some of this stuff that I got for my trip to Seattle, but it really does tie right into long distance commuting every day. The next one would be this right here, the throttle locker. This thing is pretty freaking awesome. For those times when you're like an hour into your commute and you just want to stretch out and you got a nice open road, you can just lock this thing down. I'll show you guys right now. We'll do it right now. All you got to do is set it down like this, push it down, and you're done. That's it. Now, as you see right here, I'm not even using my hands. We're keeping up to speed. We're about staying about 80. It does kind of, every once in a while you have to adjust it. I haven't tightened it recently, so as you can see the speed kind of drops or whatnot. But once I set it correctly, it's good to go, at least for a while. You do have to like go back every once in a while and readjust it, but it really does allow you to like let go and relax. And you know, on a cold morning or whatever, you can hug your tank, put your hands by the engine, warm them up like a nice campfire. One of the biggest things with long distance commuting is really about being comfortable on the bike. It doesn't matter how comfortable you are off the bike. It doesn't matter how comfortable you are, you know, before or after getting off or on the bike. It really is about focusing on your comfortability while you're on the bike. While you are riding, are you comfortable? Are you warm? Are you too hot? Are you too cold? All these things come into play. When you're riding for, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours one way every day, so, you know, it gets tedious. And you get really focused on the same commute over and over again, and those little things, you know, will start to annoy you. And being comfortable is huge in getting rid of one thing to think of mentally, you know, one of the mental factors while riding. Now, this is also where I personally have problems. If you're in Southern California, you probably know what I mean. In the mornings, on the way to work, going through like Temecula, going through Manatee, it's normally high 30s, low 40s, and it's freaking cold. It hurts, your fingertips hurts. If you're not dressed right, it's just a brutal, soul-sucking ride, and it sucks. So, what do? For myself, I actually wear these Viking pants right here. They keep me nice and freaking toasty. They're a little bit big, but they do the job. They definitely keep me toasty and keep me warm. I got some new Icon boots. When it's raining, I picked up some Joe Rocket rain boots. I got some new Alpine Star C20 or C7. I don't know what they are. These things are pretty awesome. They're really warm. They're waterproof. They're ugly as fuck. But, again, remember what I said. We're talking about comfort. We're not looking for style. We want to be comfortable while we ride. I do have some Icon winter gloves. The problem with those is they're very bulky. And so it makes like shifting and holding on to the levers a little bit weird. Where these, they're semi-thin, and I can really get a good feel for the bike. I can really get a good sense of what the bike is doing, and so I really like these. I also wear the Icon Team Merc jacket with, typically this is how I rock it, for cold ass days. I'll have the jacket, I'll have the sweater, I'll have a thermal, I'll have my work shirt or whatever, and underneath that I'll have one of those like freeze out shirts or something like that to keep me super warm. And with this whole setup, I can probably get down, I know I've ridden in low 30s, probably like 33, 34 degrees, and I mean, yeah, it was cold, but I wasn't freezing, you know. And so, again, part of being comfortable. But here's the problem, and this ties back to why I said don't do this on a sports bike. You can avoid it because I don't have all the room for gear and to lock all this stuff down. When I go to work, and I leave, I have to wear all this shit back home. And you know what? Days like today, when it was like 42 degrees this morning, right? It was pretty cold. Now, it's like 67 degrees, 68 degrees, and I have to wear everything. So I have all the vents open. I have everything open to try to stay cool because, well, it's not hot. It's still it's still hot for the gear that I'm wearing. I'd rather not freeze my ass off in the morning because on the way home, I can open vents, I can open the jacket a bit, I can do a couple things to try to stay cool, but you can't do anything to warm up if you ain't got the gear. Another thing that I do is I always get gas when I'm almost home. Like, when I'm a couple blocks from my house, I get gas and then I head home. Because there's nothing worse than having like all your gear on, it's cold out, and you have to go get gas. You have to take your gloves off, and you have to do all this other crap, you know, when you just want to get on the road and go. Especially if you got to leave early. So sometimes I leave at like 4:30, 5 in the morning, and getting gas is like the last thing I fucking want to do. You know what I mean? I mean, after it takes me about a good 30 minutes to get ready to leave. I mean, getting everything on, taking my time, drinking my coffee, all that good stuff. You know what you got to do. And so doing gas in the morning nah, that's a negative. But along with that, which sounds odd, is getting sleep, man. Getting the right amount of sleep so that you're not dead fucking tired. You don't think about it, and it's hard. You know, I don't know how many other people deal with this, but when you're riding the exact same route every day, day in and day out, if you're tired, you get fucking sleepy, just like you were driving a car. You know, I used to think, like, how could anyone ever get so tired while riding the bike that you fall asleep, you know? But I can totally fucking see it now. I can totally understand that. I mean, I've done things like where I've been so tired where I'm like punching myself, where I'm pinching myself, I'm yelling, I'm literally yelling to try not to fall asleep because my dumb ass decided to stay up and play fucking video games, you know what I mean? And it's not fun. It makes it very unenjoyable. And then you even do stupid things like to try to get the adrenaline pumping. Thank you, sir. To try to get the adrenaline pumping, you know, you start speeding and splitting lanes super fast, and you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, at first that works. You're like, oh man, yeah, that was adrenaline, right? But then guess what? That shit wears off, and then you're doing it, and you realize this has zero effect on me now. I'm not getting like any adrenaline from lane splitting at 100 miles an hour. I'm not getting any adrenaline, you know, from any of that stuff, and it starts to get really shitty. I normally just drink my coffees, grab myself a 5-hour, and I'm good to go. The biggest thing though, get sleep, man. That shit sucks. Another really important tip that I would have to recommend is don't get complacent. Like, don't get comfortable. You're seeing the same shit every day, day in, day out, at nighttime, in the morning. You're seeing the same routes, you're seeing the same things. It's very, very easy to let yourself get complacent. And on a motorcycle, that's just something that you cannot do. You can't let yourself get comfortable. You can't get complacent with your riding and not, you know, keeping your head on the swivel, and you know what I mean? That type of thing. So it's very difficult to do, but it's something you really got to work on not letting happen, because that can be a very dangerous situation, man. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, keep a mindful on. I don't know what I'm saying. You know, you get it. You know, you remember. And I think one of the most important things I have to say about it is try to enjoy it, man. Just have fun. Remember, you're on a bike. Remember, you can enjoy yourself. When you're like, man, I'm stuck in traffic, or man, I got this long commute. Remember that all these cars, when you hit traffic, are stuck in traffic. You're not stuck in traffic. You get to have fun. You get to split lanes and get home before most people do. So just remember that. Other than that, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully there's some tips and tidbits of information that will be useful for you. If you're on a long commute like me, I'd love to hear like your tips. What are some of the things that you do to make the ride more enjoyable? Are there any lessons learned? I don't know. Share the information down below. I can definitely tell you I've seen some shit. The more miles I put down, the more I see, you know, more accidents, cars on fire, all kinds of crazy weird shit, man, especially asshole drivers. But yeah, man, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, night, or whatever time it is that you guys are watching this. Enjoy yourselves, and stay safe, ride safe, and all that good stuff. Peace.